Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to my channel. I'm DMS Snipes. So today we're going to be talking about, is GTA 5 first person mode on the Xbox One and PS4 and also coming for the PC soon, is it any good? So a couple things I've noticed. There are a couple of little like tiny things that you'll notice after some time, but for the most part it's very good. Now let me let me explain why I think it's pretty good. Now, a couple of things I like. It's very well thought out. They added a lot of detail and just tiny things that will really make you notice how much time they put into it. And it's very well thought out. I mean, you have a lot of controls you can go to. For example, if we come to the start menu here and we go to online and settings. If we come to online and settings and we go to controls. Now, we have a lot of third-person controls like sensitivity, but look at all the first-person modes and options we have. You can change your controller setup from all this. I'm using standard FPS. We can look at look around sensitivity, aiming sensitivity, on foot field of view. First-person ragdoll, you can turn that on and off. That is it can give you a headache after a while. Combat roll. Head bobbing, stuff like this. You have so many options that you can control in first person mode that I thought it was a really good feature, because for example, if you're parachuting or if you're falling out of a car or getting hit by a car, it can give you a headache because the camera is just rolling around back and forth. So I can see why they would want to turn that off, because it might give people headaches after a while, especially in like different game modes and online. Now, as for the driving and for flying and just all the controls in that, I think it's very well thought out. And everything, again, just like the small stuff, for example, in a plane, the gauges all work. In the car, the gauges are actually readable. Like, you can actually see the revs, you can see how fast you're going. Like right now, I'm just going 40. So, again, that kind of adds something I've always wanted in GTA, is how fast you're actually going. So now we can actually see in our cars how fast we're actually traveling. So I think that's actually a really good feature and something that some people maybe look over, but now you actually kind of know how fast you're going. Now, let's talk about the aiming and shooting. So the shooting and aiming, again, very well thought out, and we're going to stop here and pull out a gun, and let's pull out a gun. Now, one thing I like is you still have the weapon wheel, of course. I'm not going to get rid of that. But if I choose, well, let's go with this gun. So I have my gun. If I aim right now, you can see I'm aiming down the sight. I'm actually using the ACOG at the moment. I'm not going to shoot them. Not just yet, because I don't want cops. But what I like about this is you're aiming down the sights. Now, if I hit in on the right stick, you see how we go back to kind of the original GTA style with the dot there. But the cool thing about this is now when I hit left trigger again, it stays that way. But if I hit in on the right stick again, now we're back to the ACOG and down the sight view. Now again, if I zoom back in, it stays there. So it stays to what you did last. So I think that was a really cool feature that they added, to where you don't have to switch every time. Because if you had to switch every time, that would get annoying. So I think that's just like you kind of have like a hip fire here and then more precise shots. Now this would be great for online purposes, especially in first person shooters. And speaking of online, a couple of things I was trying to figure out is, if you're a map creator and you're making game types, can you force the first person mode or the third person mode? Because I could see some game types and some shooters and stuff like that might be good to only have first person or third person. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to decide and force that upon the player, because if not, you're going to have to kind of go on the honor system, which, let's be honest, we're on the internet. Not everybody is very honest, and some people just want to win. Now, let's talk about some of the bad things. So some of the bad things is kind of like what we talked about earlier that you can turn off, is when you get hit by a car or just anything like that happens. For example, I'm going to walk in front of this car here in a second. And see, it can kind of give you a headache from all the rolling around you can do. So that's something that you can kind of turn off. But if you do want to turn it on, get prepared for a headache after a while. Now, flying and all that is a little bit harder, and everything works in the planes, like the gauges and all that, but it is very disorienting, and it's going to take some time to get used to especially if you play GTA all the time, because you can't really see like how low the plane is. You're kind of gonna have to, it's gonna be a learning curve at some point, and people will get really good at flying and all that eventually at some point in first person, because it is a little bit different, not too much, but a little bit. A bad thing I've thought of was some of the cars. I think they could have looked better on the interior. Now, I understand that this is not meant to be a first-person game primarily, but for example, the Zentorno, the car I was just driving, where's my car? Oh, that's not run. And the Zentorno, I forgot some of the other cars. Oh, there's another one of those head bobbing things. Boo boo. What is going on there? Oh. And we're just gonna start a party there, so we don't have to deal with that. And so some of the cars have the exact same interior for the most part, and I think that kind of sucks. And especially some of the nicer cars like the Zentorno, for example, you think they would have like something that looks like leather or not just plastic, you know? Because if I bought a $200,000 car, I want the interior to look nice. Now, I understand this is not meant to be a first-person game, so keep that in mind. But yeah, so this is basically my conclusion of everything. I think it's a very well thought out feature, and as soon as we get Heist, I think it will be even better. But for now, we're just gonna have to deal with what we have. So hopefully you guys like this little short video about is it any good, and I think it is. I think the overall feature of it is a very well thought out feature. There are some things they could make a little bit better, but for the most part, I think it's a very, very well addition to the game. So thank you for watching, guys. Please rate and subscribe if you're new to my channel. So bye bye, guys, and I'll talk to all you guys later. Bye bye.